I went to my grade 10 history teacher and I asked him to speak on the Ukrainian internment during World War I. He came back at me and said, "You mean the Japanese internment during World War II?" I said, "No, the Ukrainian internment during World War I." And he said, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And he said, "Well, didn't happen. Never heard of it."
You know, I only discovered it, I have to say, sort of midway through my university career. I mean, I took Canadian history courses when I was an undergrad, and I took it even as a grad student, but this really was not covered in those courses. So many history professors in Canadian studies programs, for example, in history departments like where I teach, don't actually focus on this story very much. Rather, they sort of focus on the quote-unquote grand narrative of Canadian history. This hasn't made its way in yet, so there's plenty of work to do.
The goal would be that every Canadian child who comes up through the educational system, by the time they're through their last year heading into university or beyond high school, that they go, I know what this was, I understand what it was, I understand what governments do in crisis.
The internment is on the curriculum in almost every province. In fact, it is in every province, and I looked in detail at 8 of the provinces. So it is on the curriculum. It's just not being taught because the teachers don't have what they need.
But how do we get the teachers to be interested in it? Because if the teachers are interested in it, the teachers are going to teach it. What are the materials that we have to present to the teachers? Also, how do we make it interesting? How do we make it something that people want to learn about, something that people want to have, are going to have an emotional response to? How do we make it so that people want to know?
It's pretty difficult to get teachers to start teaching something new because they're already so busy. The curriculum is already crowded with hundreds of things that they're expected to teach inside any given course. The recommendation that I made to the audience was to say it's, rather than putting your energies into trying to get something into the curriculum, it's much better to put your energies into creating materials that teachers will be able to use to teach the subject.
The ideas are concentrated around, I guess, 4 main activities. One is work with museums and heritage sites that already exist, how they can get the story out through a network of sites all across the country.
Museums have a critically important social responsibility. They're guardians of public history. Museums have to be comprehensive. They have to provide balanced information, truthful information, which means that they have to tell the whole story. So, for example, to talk about the Great War, World War I, or indeed World War II, and not talk about internment operations would not be comprehensive or balanced and truthful in telling the story of military history from those periods.
The other arena is research, which can be archival, international, local, and the need for networked research on one big portal so that graduate students, historians can access information about the event from kind of a one-stop shopping approach. Another arena is education, and they came up with fantastic ideas of how to work more effectively with teachers across the country. And then maybe the most important arena actually is the arts.
Art creates emotion, and an emotional response is all you need from people in order for them to take that emotional response and do something with it.
It is appropriate to speak for the silenced voices, to tell their story. Their story needs to be told. And thankfully, through the efforts of the Ukrainian scholars and community, this has been saved. This has been saved.